Guys, hello and welcome to everybody. Tonight is the start of the American GTE Series Season 2. Tonight we're at Imola, and I mean, that is one hell of a track to be opening the season with. It's a very tricky track, as a lot of these guys have been finding out in the practice session. But Casey, we're back. Season 2, man.
Season 2, we took the American GTE Series and now we're going global. So...
Yeah, we're not just sticking to American tracks this season. We've got some all-time favourites across the board. So we've got Imola, we've got Spa, we've got Nürburgring, we've got Silverstone. We've got all the big tracks that you're going to want to see. And they are absolutely fantastic. They are just the best of tracks that you're going to be able to pick from. There is a few American ones still in there, so we stick true to our roots. We've got Watkins Glen, we've got Road America, I think, as well. So we do have quite a few American tracks still, but predominantly we are a international series now. We are not just an American series, and we've branched out. So these guys picked their calendar. We gave them, I think it was 15 or 18 tracks to pick from, and they voted on what tracks they wanted to race on over the course of the next 10 weeks. So there's 10 rounds on this championship, and there's been some really big changes, which we're going to touch on, of course, throughout the course of the evening. So yeah, these guys are out there at the minute. The AMs are out on track qualifying. Let's get straight in. So with John Casey at the minute. John Casey's a returning driver from Season 1. A guy who's really sort of improved his driving standards and his driving ability, of course, throughout Season 1. And now we see him back for Season 2. So really big thumbs up for John. And we wish him all the best in racing across the next 10 rounds. It's a track that I think, talking to John, he's not quite clicked with 100%, but I'm sure he'll be able to put on a good show for us for this one. Casey, I know, is it too early to tell? Is it too early to say? But have you been checking out the practice sessions all that much and seeing who's who and who's got some pace and whatnot?
To be honest, I wasn't really able to make it to watch any of the practice sessions or anything. So no, but I mean, just knowing Imola the way it is, I mean, it's such a challenging track. It really is. It's really technical. So, one of the things I'm going to be looking for tonight, I really want to see if some of our guys from last year, like, Jeff Applegrim, they're still going to be at the top of the heap, when we get going here by the time everything's said and done with qualifying.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the top 5 guys at the minute are all returning guys from Season 1. So we've got Blake Scott's gone quickest at the minute with a 38.9, Lydon Lee with a 39.4, Mark Scott with a 39.6, Michael Kalaga with a 40.1, and Eric Kalaga with a 40.2. So those guys at the minute are your top 5, and we can see here that we've got a good mix of Porsches, Corvettes, we've got a few Fords. Cars that we never saw last season was the Ferrari. We've got quite a few Ferraris out there making their appearance, which is great to see. But it is James Pearce at the minute who has topped qualifying with a 38.831. And let's see if we can get anybody else across the line who's going to improve on that time. We've got Brent Bravata, who is a handsome-looking Porsche there. And we're going to see what sort of time that he can do, because this guy was quick in the practice session. His quickest time that I think he put in, he hasn't actually posted a time yet, but the quickest time he put in practice was a 38.2, which is enough to take pole by 0.6 of a second as we go on board with him here. So he's coming through the final corner. Now, his first lap, I believe, was invalid, so he's not got any. He's not got a time on the board yet. And he goes third with a 39.096. So Brent there putting in a decent time, putting himself onto third in the AM category. Now, one of the big changes that we're going to have here is there's going to be AMs starting separately from the pros. So pros are going to be up the front. They're going to be in a group, and then 5-ish seconds behind under start, there's going to be the AMs. So this is something that we've worked with in all the other series that we run, the World Series, the Super Trofeo Series, and we're bringing it into the American Series. And on the whole, I've got to say, I do genuinely think it eradicates or brings out any of these start problems that I'm sure we've all had. Casey, we saw a couple of those at the start of Season 1, and I think it's going to work pretty well.
Yeah, there was a couple of those, especially at Daytona going down into turn one. I think we had a couple of cars, caught up in that accordion effect. And a lot of that, I think, was, because of the urgency that the pros would have trying to come up through the AMs, especially in race two. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a good change. Still going to be a lot of exciting racing and a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, 100%. And we've got the pros now, which are just heading out to line up to start their qualifying. So we bring them to the end of pit lane, they line up, and then we turn them loose once we've got everybody lined up. So we're just waiting to see the last few guys getting in line and getting into order, and then we're going to set the track live and send them out to see what sort of times the pros can do. Track is live for all pros. Can I have all pros on track now, please? So that call goes directly to the drivers, and they are able then to head out onto track. We're going to do a quick scan through just to make sure we do have just pros out there. We don't want any AMs mixing in and showing those guys up, of course. So track is now live, and I think in season one it was a bit of a Corvette frenzy. There was a couple of splatterings of Porsches. But on the whole, it was. I think it was a bit of a Corvette zone.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And when we started the series, the Corvette was still pretty new. I don't want to say it was brand new because it had been around for a couple of months at that point, but it was still pretty new, and it was still, as iRacing I think tends to do, whether intentionally or unintentionally, they tend to overpower, the newer cars, so they tend to dominate whenever they enter a series for the first time. So, and I think we saw quite a bit of that, last season, especially at some of the other tracks that we went to, Daytona for sure. I think Mid-Ohio was another one where the Corvette just ran away with it. So, yeah, it's good to see that, and iRacing's really stepped up and they've balanced it out pretty well, I think. So,
yeah, I
we're
think
seeing some of the guys, gravitate more towards what would normally be their favorite car now.
Yeah, I think we're still going to see a predominant grid of cars. I do feel the Porsche is probably one of the better in the GTE class as an all-rounded car. We do see a good splattering of Corvettes and now some Ferraris, a couple of Fords as well. There's a Ford up there at the minute, currently with a 39.7. That's Eric Kalaga in P6. So there is a couple of Fords out there, which is good to see, as well as obviously the Corvettes and Ferraris. But while we're on the screen, we've got a returning driver. Jeff Applegrim was a real front runner in season one, really quick guy. Gave Jersey Glack a good run for his money, who of course won season one, and he's currently awaiting his main prize to get to him. It's been shipped and sent, but obviously with the world being a little bit upside down at the minute with what's going on, and also obviously here in the UK we've got something about us leaving some union or whatever the hell it is. That is obviously having a bit of an effect on things getting out to him, but yeah, as Jeff Applegreen goes for a trip to the sand trap on his first lap, so that will not be a time lap from him, unfortunately. He will be relying on his second lap, and yeah, like I said, a lot of good names we've got from season one coming back. Daniel Tenorio has obviously moved up into the pro field. You can see him there. Car 17 has taken the plunge to step up and try and give some of the big guys in this series a run for their money, but we wish everybody in this series the best of luck. And yeah, but some of the rule changes we've implemented, like that start zone procedure, is just there to protect the drivers, protect the race in itself, and make sure that these guys can, they put time and effort in during the week, they put time in practicing, tweaking setups, everything like that. We want them to take the first corner at least, you know what I mean? It's like, how irritating is it to put time and effort into a race and not even make it to the first corner? It's just one of the worst feelings in the world. So the start zone procedure and the different blocks in the actual start will make a big difference. We're pretty sure and confident of it. But we'll see there, Andrew Hewson. Sorry, I thought it was Daniel. Sorry, it's Andrew Hewson, that is. So Andrew Hewson, returning driver into pro, running some new colours there. Currently, him and Daniel are racing for the team that me and Casey are pretty affiliated with, Twisted Racing Team. And big thank you to Matthew Heatrick, who does all of our paints and skins and puts a serious amount of time in with that, and also the guy who does all of the website design. So he's the man with the paintbrush behind the scenes, who puts the effort into the media side of things, which is safe for getting our series up and running. So big thank you to him. But currently a 38.3 is the top time, and that is Kevin A. Brooks, a new driver to the series. Has been showing some really decent pace, and Taylor Lane is in second place with a 38.6. So we'll see. It's a bit of a splatter in the times across the board in a mix with them. So there we go. We go on board here with Daniel Tenorio. So this is the second driver in the Twisted Racing team in the Porsche. There is a third driver out there, which is James Pierce in the Corvette. But currently Daniel been really quick in the practice session we put up. I've seen him do some 38s and stuff. So currently he's sitting on a 39.3, and he'll want to improve that time. I think the time that he set in the practice was a 38.9, which is enough to get him into the top 5 if he can string it together on this lap here. Let's see what he does. He comes through the final 2 corners, a little bit of a run wide there. He could have hugged that apex a bit better. And again, he's really hugged that apex, and that is a corner pretty renowned for potentially causing some off-track situations. But let's see as he crosses the line of what sort of time he's going to put in. Is it an improvement? He does a 38.6, sorry, so it puts him P4. He did break into the top 5. It's 3/10 quicker than his practice time. So well done, Daniel. And I don't think we have still got cars out there. We've got Jamie Lawrence, Bob Bieber, who's coming through. He's a Corvette driver, is Bob. New to the series. And we've got Jamie Lawrence here crossing the line. Let's see what sort of time he can put in and see if he goes any quicker, which I don't think he does. Oh, he does. Sorry, 39.3. So he's jumped up the order quite a bit. Just pipped Andrew Houston there as he comes across the line. And Jamie Lawrence, again, a new driver to the series. And that is pretty much all of the guys in the pro field all qualified. So we're going to put a call out here just to let these guys know that qualifying is now complete. We've got a little bit of damage there on Bob's car, I think. Casey, and if you would be so kind as to talk us through the qualifying results.
Sure. So, in first, we've got Kevin A. Brooks. He will lead the pros to the green flag. Jeff Applegrim, surprise, surprise. He is second with a 38.4. Taylor Lane, 38.6. Daniel Tenorio with a 38.612. Mac Miller, fifth with a 38.7. James Pierce, he is your AM pole sitter with a 38.832. Blake Scott will start second in AM with a 38.977. And then third in AM will be Brent Bravata, 39.097. Matouche, he will start ninth. 10th overall was Derek Ekmanis. 11th is Jamie Lawrence. Andrew Hewson, 12th. Lyden Lee, 13th overall. Mark Scott, 14th. Manuel Tolentino, 15th. Eric Kalaga with a 39.760. And Errol Uriksoy, 17th. Steven Martinez with a 40.0. Michael Kalaga in 19th with a 40.11. Bob Bieber with a 40.670. Kyle Smith, 21st. Don Hunter, 22nd. John Casey, 23rd. And Miles Morse rounding out the field, 24th.
And there you have it, guys. That's your starting lineup for today's proceedings. So we're just sorting the grid out now so that these guys are starting in their blocks. So we're just currently going through and working out where these guys should be starting and making sure they're all starting in the correct places, because obviously when we split the field, it'd be lovely if there was a button that we could just press that splits the AMs and pros together. But because all these guys are racing in the same car, it means we have to do things manually. So there's always this little bit of downtime in between these two race sessions going up, and I'm sure me and Casey can fill you with some some memoirs and stories about things. And how was your Bathurst, Casey? Let's start with that.
No.
Yeah, I'm going
why?
there. I'm going
Why
there.
would you do that?
I'm going there, mate, because I heard you had a fantastic time at Bathurst. Go on, tell us all about
that. It was a fantastic time before I got in the car.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, 4 hours in, we're sitting just on the outskirts of P5, and
I will just stop you right there. One guy did 4 hours straight from the start. Did an absolutely fantastic job. I think, did he stay on the same tyres for the whole time of 4 hours?
That was his call, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, great.
So, yeah.
Nice. And then you get in.
I get in on brand new tires, and I bin it within like 6 laps. So
slow clap for Casey, please. Thank you, mate. It's good work.
Yeah, no, I was wearing the dunce cap, so
yeah, you deserve to be wearing it.
I did. I did. It was not my best moment. So.
Wait. Well, Bathurst, as we all know, and everybody who I'm sure is watching this has competed at Bathurst at some way or another in any of the races. So we're talking obviously about the 12 hours that's just been and gone, and it's just such a vicious place to race around. It's one mistake, one error, and gone. And I mean, I was in a team with somebody, and our race we were 40 seconds in the lead. And he's coming out of Skyline and dropping down into, I think it's Devil's Elbow or something, Forest Elbow or something, the last corner before you get onto Conrod Straight. And he gets just black screens. And that was that. We were no longer 40 seconds in the lead. We were 30 minutes in the pits with required repairs. And we got out in the car, drove like a crab. So that was that. So that was our trip to Bathurst.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, there's no mistakes around there, and if you do make a mistake, all it's going to do is end your night in a very sour, bitter way. And I remember when you jumped into my channel to say we're done, it was like, I want to do the one at 7 a.m. in the morning, which was like 2 o'clock in the morning for you. And I'm like, well, you might be doing that on your own, because I'm going to struggle to find some guys to do that, be with you for that one. But I think that's it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I did. I felt absolutely horrible, because I was sitting there, spotting, first 4 hours, I'm ready to go. Get in the car, and no, just wasn't having it. Got in, just overcooked it going to the Skyline, just a little too much, and tried taking it straight, ran through the grass, ran over a curb, and that was all she wrote. Once it hit the curb, there was no saving it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good, because what have we got next? We've got like Sebring, I think, is the next big endurance, and you've done all right around Sebring. Father, you're a Sebring 12.
Won it.
Nice.
Yeah, I won it last year with James Howard, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to that place. And I think I'm quick around Sebring, so I'm really looking forward to that one. That's definitely one I got circled on my calendar. So.
Yeah, I think Sebring has always been a slightly, should we say, better track to. I'd say better. It's a different thing. It's somewhere where you can at least probably push the car a little bit better and have a bit more fun with it. So, but yeah, after that we've got Nordschleife, and that last year for us was a great time as well.
Yeah, we had well. I don't know about you, but
no, it wasn't.
No. My team, you know what, this is going to make me sound lame, but that was actually the first 24-hour event that I managed to finish. The hardest 24-hour race, I would say, out of any of them, and that's the one that managed to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I came to a little bit of a pact with somebody in the night time. It was me and an American guy were going through the night, and we were like, right, okay, we've got it through the night. We're just going to make sure it's really good and clean for a guy called Dennis Van Ash, who races in the GT3 series in the World Series. And it was like, we have this pact, right, we're going to keep it clean. We're not going to do anything silly. We're not going to bend it or anything like that. We're just going to go out there, crack the laps. Everything's going to be fine. So it was him for 2, then me for 2, then him for 2, then me for 2. And I was just pitted on my last run. So I literally had like 45 minutes left to go, and it was handing over to him, and he was going to cane it. We were in P2, minute behind P1, 6-7 hours to go. Second carousel, I carry like 5 mile an hour too quick, and there was a very solid wall, and we connected horrendously sharply with it, and I ended that. So yeah, we have some great fun in endurance rounds. And talking of endurance rounds, of course, another rule change, which is just I'm really looking forward to, like what we had earlier on today, is we are going to be doing endurance rounds in this series. So we're going to have a change from last season. We're going to have some 75-minute races, so hour and 15-minute long races where these guys will have to pit twice. So the fuel will be capped at 50%, and we will have to. They will have to go out there, and they'll have to pit twice for these rounds. So big change, that is. We didn't have anything like that, obviously, with Season 1. Season 1 was just, I think it was a 25-minute race, and then like a 35-minute race or 30-minute race, or something along those lines. And now we've got this introduction of the 4 endurance rounds. And the 4 endurance rounds that we're going to see, I have come prepared today, because usually we always say, oh, what track's next? And then I'm fumbling around trying to find a piece of paper in a big pile of stuff or whatever. But the 4 endurance rounds we're going to see is obviously Daytona Road Course, which goes without saying, prestigious track for this sort of stuff. Spa is going to be an endurance round, Sebring, and then obviously we've round out the season with the last at Le Mans. So the other tracks that we're going to see is Imola, Watkins Glen, Nürburgring GP, Silverstone, Road America, Monza, and then obviously I just said we round out the season with Le Mans. So 10 rounds, 10 weeks, and just looking forward to seeing some really cool racing. I think that is the biggest thing that I'm really looking forward to here, is just seeing these guys some of them never met each other from Adam, and now lamp them all in a server together and send them out to try and win a rig, so that we are racing not just for pride and glory. These guys are out there racing to win a rig from RacingSimRigs, and Chris over at RacingSimRigs is a fantastic sponsor of ours, sponsor rules of the series, and has some fantastic products as well. So if you are looking to upgrade your setup and get yourself a nice new shiny rig, definitely go and check out RacingSimRigs and RacingSimRigs UK, and Chris Hamer over there will be able to sort you out with what you need. Does some bespoke rigs as well, so just get in touch with him, multicolored, things like that. And the winners of both classes, Am and Pro, will get on their doorstep when obviously Customs stop playing with it, because that's what's happening, unfortunately, to Jersey's rig at the minute, that Customs decided, I don't know whether they think it's some sort of alien device or whatever, but when he does get it to his door, he's going to have a brand new shiny rig, and that is what these guys are racing for in Pro and in Am. We've got 2 rigs to give away. So, yeah. But I presume a lot of these guys are racing for pride as well. Do you know what I mean? New season.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, bragging rights and all that. Hey, look, we're
I
off.
always want to have bragging rights.
Hey, where would you be without them? Just like technically, none of my car at Bathurst actually binned it on our own. It was a hardware failure. That's a bragging right. Sorry, Case. I'm sure you'll pull it out the bag for Sebring, won't you?
I'm going to give it my best shot, that's for sure. You know, and that's, like I said, that's a place I really enjoy driving around. So
as long as you don't give it your best shot into the barrier at Skyline again, we'll be all right.
Man. Really?
I'm sorry, I can't help it, all right? I don't know what mood I'm in today, but
you know, like 5 miles an hour too fast in there. And, oh.
Yeah, 5, yeah.
That's the stuff that nightmares are made of.
Try Mach 5. So, we're loading into the session. Round 1. After practice, who's your favourite? Where's your money with? I think we saw Jeff Applegrim setting some decent times. Obviously, we know that name. I think is it Kevin A. Brooks? Forgive me, I'm going to look at that when I get in the session, but I'm pretty sure he's the
pole sitter.
He's a pole sitter. So Kevin's been setting some decent times all week. 37 something I think he did in the practice session. I don't know what he ran in the queue. I think the queue is a slightly warmer track, but just looking to see these guys out there, and I really hope they have a good round 1. I want all of them to finish well. Obviously, there's going to be, unfortunately, someone who finishes last, as there always is, and you know, there's going to be some bumps along the way, but really hoping that these guys at least get the season off to the start that they want. So, yeah, we're we're looking forward to it. Some nice new snazzy paint schemes as well. That's part of the fun of having a new season. Is we always see some nice shiny paint schemes, and I think we'll have a little bit of a who's got the best skin. There's a Red Bull one out there, I think, and that is Mateusz, and he's got a very handsome looking car. And Jeff Applegrim's car always looks to the business. So that team, forgive me, I'm not familiar with the team that he runs with, but that their paint scheme's always been one of the finer ones that sticks out.
It's just bright. It just catches your attention.
Oh, it sticks out. There we can see one of the Ferraris. Now, Lydon Lee is a Verve Racing driver. Now, Verve Racing team run by Mark Bailey. Really great bunch of guys, support all of the series. Really good bunch of drivers, clean, consistent. Just a good group of guys they've got over there. For some reason, he's running not a Verve Racing team livery. He's racing a black and mint green Ferrari that has some random thing on the bonnet. And I'm sure there's method in the madness behind why or what it is, but it's if we can get a shot of Lydon Lee's car at some point this evening, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The Ferrari he's running has got some writing on it somewhere along the line, and it's I don't know if he's going to win any sort of prizes for best turned out car, but it's definitely unique, put it that way. But there we see a good mix there. So we've got Porsche, Ferrari, Porsche, and then a Porsche behind it. And we've got 2 minutes left to count down until these guys start the season, new season, fresh start, fresh beginning. These guys are going to want to stamp their authority on it. They're not going to want to be, the pushover guy and all that sort of stuff. And might see some egos, might see some flares and stuff like that. But who knows? Pray for us, Spartan Clan. So that's James Pierce saying pray for us. And that is a Porsche. Okay, that's not where you should park your Porsche, by the way. Just if anyone's watching, wondering where to park your Porsche, do not park it on the exit of that section there, because you're probably just going to end up being yeeted into the moon. End up like the SpaceX launch that went really well today.
Did it? I wasn't able to see it.
Yeah, it went really well. It landed and then blew up.
Oh no!
So yeah, so they did their official broadcast. Everyone was like, "Yeah, it's gone really well. It's landed." I mean, it was a bit on its like leaning, and there was a very small fire at the bottom of it. And we were watching it in Craig King, obviously, who you're all aware of from the commentator from that joins Rob in the World Series. We were watching the SpaceX launch, and it touched down, everything's good and groovy, and then about 3 minutes later, he puts in the chat, it's blown up again, and it was just blew up while it was sat there.
Oh.
So, hoping that these guys...
Is that the second or the third one that they've blown up lately?
I have no idea, but you just couldn't write it, could you? That it's sat there. It's like it's done its job. It's done its thing, and boom, and it just explodes. And it was like, oh, that's gone well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Not
I think
good.
they were all on the hype saying, oh, it's going to fly again. It's the first SpaceX to go again. It's going to be, it's going to go. No, it's not going anywhere. So. That's just a big burning pile of metal now. So, but anyway, that's that. And now we're on to something that's obviously far more important than any of that nonsense. We are on to getting the race underway as these guys go over into the race session. And it's starting. This is it. This is the start of a new season. These it could also It could also, you could say, a little bit of a swan song for the GTE, because GTE class is going to be going, which is very sad, because these cars I just think are utterly fantastic. And one of the cars that we see on this grid, which is probably going to become one of the most iconic cars they've ever made, I think, is the Porsche. The sound of that thing in person, and unfortunately I've never been able to see that car in person. Unfortunately, probably never will be with what's going on with the world. But from all eyewitness reports, the sound of a Porsche 911 RSR GTE car is a biblical thing, and it's very sad that we're not going to see GTE at any of the major events really anymore. So,
well, yeah, IMSA put out the announcement. I want to say about a week ago, or a week or two ago, and for next year, GTLM is no more for IMSA, which is obviously the American series that runs over here in parallel to the WEC. So yeah, GTLM is going to be extinct, and to be honest, the writing's been on the wall, I think, for a year or two now. Just because a lot of teams have not. It's more factory teams that have been supporting it, and when you have factory teams leaving and others not taking their place, you got to do something. You can't have just 3 or 4 cars running in a single category. So.
No, you can't. And talking to GTEs, these guys are holding their starter zone procedure, waiting for the green flag, and they've got a green flag, and it's Kevin Brooks leads them down. Kevin A. Brooks, should I say, leads the field down into turn 1. And what will we see here as we go in? And they are 2x2. It's a good mix of cars. You can see a full Sen Racing car there. And there's a car around, and that's Andrew Hewson, the guy who's put much effort into the season so far, has unfortunately looped it around at the start. And the AMs are currently coming to the line for their start. And they've already started. They are coming down into turn 1. You'll be able to see a glimpse of them in the background there, but we'll see what these guys go through as they come through turn 1. And they are all through, all okay at the minute. James Pierce is leading your AM field. And again, a very handsome looking BMW. I think that's the only BMW we've got out there at the minute with Kyle Smith. Nice Valvoline coloured car. Valvoline is always a paint scheme that you just recognise from obviously its affiliation with NASCAR racing. And there we go. Well, you know what? First couple of corners, I've got to say, I'm impressed.
Yeah, fairly clean so far. A little bit of a spicy start there, looked like, between Taylor Lane and Jeff Applegrim. They went in first couple of corners side by side there, but I think they managed to get it sorted out without compromising each other. So.
No, absolutely. So they had a really good start there, and we can see if we go through up into the pro field that we've got a couple of the guys up at the front still together. So Jeff Applegrim has not been able to, or shall we say, Kevin Brooks has not been able to shake off Jeff Applegrim. The gap as they cross the line after lap 1, currently at around 1.5 seconds. So there is actually quite a big gap there. Actually, I thought it was a bit closer than that. And then Taylor Lane is 0.8 back from there. And then it's Mateusz, and I'm going to go for it, Casey. And we asked him specifically how you pronounce this name. He did say it, and I think it's Dubček. Dubček?
No.
Mateusz is having car 52 is having a great start to obviously season 2, and currently running 4th. I've got to ask him how to pronounce his name again because I've forgotten. I'm very sorry, Mateusz, but I've got your first name right, and we're going to call you Mateusz from here on in. So, but I believe he's one of the guys that runs either with or in a side-by-side team to what Jeff Applegrim runs in. So we're going to be expecting big things from car 52 as they come through the arena section. Back up currently with Jeff Applegrim, and the gap between him and Kevin Brooks looks to be extended a little bit. Kevin's got that Corvette really hooked up and is doing well. So, big chunk of curb there. Big chunk of curb from Jeff Applegrim. That is going to drop him back probably a little bit, maybe into the clutches of Taylor Lane, but there's a good strung out at the minute. Got some good gaps up at the front, and we've got 2 entries from the same team. And forgive me, I think it's something esports. I will double check what they are, but I'm familiar.
Eric Kalaga just got tagged from behind. Oh, big pile up here.
Oh no, let's get on that. Let's see what happens. So.
Oh yeah, there's at least, I would say, 3 or 4 cars involved here.
So let's just see what happened there. So with Eric Kalaga, obviously one of the Fords that we've got, as he goes into
for it
Oh,
going
and
down in the
Mark.
chicane.
Mark Scott just taps it. Oh, and there's Lyden Lieben spun around. And he holds his brakes, hold it there. Don't go yet. Lyden Lee's trying to get it spun around. Eric Collard's trying to get it spun around. A little bit of frustration there. You can see him dumping the clutch to get it turned around. Team PPR. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Thank you very much for that. And there's Errol. Fortunately, Errol's new to the championship and he's been putting a lot of work in. Really hyped about the season. Not had the best of starts, but hey, look, it's a long season. It's 10 weeks. There's going to be multiple races. So, you know, if it is that race, unfortunately, if it's race one that you need to write off and pretend it never happened, then hey, so be it. But we've got a good. Oh, we just got the PPR car split by a full send racing car, and then there's a twisted racing car behind that. So these guys here are all line astern. That's Daniel Tenorio in the twisted racing team car at the end of it. Derek McManus is the third car back. Jamie Lawrence, then Matt Miller. Matt Miller's leading this train at the minute as they come through into the double left-hander to complete what will be lap 3, and Matt Miller sends it into there. You see how close he got to. Jamie Lawrence sent it ever so close to what Matt Miller. Matt Miller has got a little bit of kink in the back bumper of that PPR Porsche at the minute, so hopefully he doesn't get any more damage at the rear, because obviously that will be coming from Jamie Lawrence. So here we go into the left-hander. Is there anything to be done? Matt Miller's in the full send racing car. Apologies. We're in a learning curve here, guys. We're trying to pick out who's who, and obviously these boys, all these guys here, apart from Daniel Tenorio, are new to the championship. So if we do mix up your names, we're learning. We're getting there. But little jink out of line from Matt to see if he can get an inside run. Not to be had there, and they do close up. The third car back is want to get around so he can get with his teammate. They can start working together and potentially put a gap. But at the minute, they are line astern, as we can see. We've got a replay on screen here of that's Brent as he crosses the line. What happens here going down into turn 1? Is a contact between him and Blake Scott, and there is.
Oh, man.
Gives it the full send, completely misses his braking zone, and give Blake Scott shiny new orange Porsche a big old dent in the back, which is a shame. But there we go, and he's just waiting now. The whole grid's going to have to pass him before he gets back on track. Obviously, we do have a strict rejoin rule here, where if you rejoin the track in any unsafe manner, an unsafe rejoin, then it will result in a penalty. So he's just waiting there and picks his moment to get his car back onto track. So he's got it all to do again, and he was super quick in practice session. He was one of the front-running guys of any of them, let alone in AM. So right at the back now, but we'll see what he can do as we get back with this battle up ahead. Matt Miller with a full send racing car trying to chase down Jamie Lawrence in the PPR Esports car. Nicely turned out liveries we've got here. That full send racing, always, you know, you just spot that car in any of the official servers, and all the cars are the same. I think that skin there with the black, the purple, and that very vivid yellow just looks the business. So,
oh, it looks incredible.
Handsome cars we've got out there at the minute. Again, we're on board here with Derek McManus, who is in the 77 Porsche. Maybe just trying to sit behind, gather up some info, maybe see where he's at in regards as whether he can put a move on to get away from this. He's in a PPR Esports sandwich here at the minute. So he doesn't want to be, probably doesn't want to be where he is. Again, comes out of line ever so slightly, but that's looking for an overtaker, just looking to block the line off. These guys line astern, and lap times wise they're going to be ruining everything. That battle there is going to be one to watch come the end of the race, because that's probably going to get a little bit spicy, I think.
As close as these guys are running, it might not even take till the end of the race.
Well, Matt Miller, he's had a bit of a lock up there, and you can see he ran ever so slightly wide, and that's put him right into the clutches of Derek. Now, slipstream is going to be a thing as they come down. This is quite a long start straight. So, has Derek got anything for him coming down here? And it actually looks like...
Not close enough.
No, it looks like Mac's actually pulling away slightly. So,
Say Mac might have that car trimmed out just a little bit more than.
And he closes right up under the braking zone. You can see there, he really got onto the back of Mac, did Derek. And then that's going to bring Daniel Tenorio into play. He's not too far behind. And then you've got Manuel Tolentino, a new driver to the championship, is a teammate of Kevin Brooks. So those guys there, I'm going to get a close-up just to give a shout out to their team. Let's see if it's on the car. It's here for SR driver development team. And I don't think Kevin Brooks is any form of driver development because he's currently out there and he's putting some hellishly quick lap times. 39.6 was his last lap, which is over a tenth and a half quicker than what Jeff was able to pull. And again, these four guys of Jamie Lawrence, Matt Miller, and Dennis Ekmanis and Daniel Tenorio all line astern. Manuel has been able to catch back up to the back of this train, and if these guys start jostling around and swapping places and everything, we might be seeing some interesting moves coming to the closing parts of this race. We are 10 minutes in, currently on lap 6, and I think we'll have a little look here and see who's got the quickest time. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be Kevin Brooks with a 39.3. Jeff Applegrim's quickest time 39.7. So there's 4 tenths quicker. Taylor Lane with a 40.1. And Mateusz with a 40.4. So the top 4 are pretty well strung out, as they should be. Jamie Lawrence with a 40.3. So he's chasing down Mateusz here. And again, these guys here, we've had a bit of an off from Derek. He's ended up behind Daniel Tenorio. Forgive me, I missed that while I was going through.
And he locks him up there, too. Lost a little bit more time to Daniel. Looks like he might be pushing just a little too hard right now.
He's let Daniel go around, whether he had a slowdown or just felt that he was, overdriving the car a little bit to try and keep on the pace of these guys, we'll see. But they go down into the marina section here and back up the hill. Very careful not to get an off track on that last bit there. So that section where they've just gone through, if you run it too far out to the left, not only do you get slow down, but you get an off track. And then into the section they're going through now, which is the chicane here. That is an off track on the initial 2 corners, as well as the exit of the corner as well. So if you run too far out wide there, you'll be getting yourself an off track. But let's split away from the pros a minute and let's give a look at what's going on in the Anfield. We've got Michael Kalaga being chased down by Don Hunter, and talking really good with Don in the week. Don used to race the same sort of cars that I used to race in the real world, but obviously over in their natural habitat, which is over in America. So Don used to race Legends over there and race around obviously Charlotte Motor Speedway with the shorter version of the Legends track, and we had a good chat about the good and bad points for racing those little dinky toys.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually used to watch the Legends at Charlotte when me and my family used to go over there for the All-Star race for NASCAR.
You may have even seen Don competing over there because he raced a little bit of time ago. But yeah, we were able to talk about the good fun bits of Legends racing, which I have very fond memories on. But he raced them in where they should be raced, obviously a natural home in America, which is where Legends racing originates from, and obviously over here they're all imported over, and we add our European element to them of whatever we can get away with. But yeah, there's another driver as well, which is new, which I was talking with last night, which is Bob Bieber, currently sitting. Where is Bob? He's currently sitting towards the back of the pro field. Bob used to race a Corvette C6, I believe, when I was talking to him last night. Spent a lot of time racing on motocross, dirt bikes and things like that. And when he said he did 17 years of racing in motocross, I immediately probably hit the nail on the head, excuse the pun, of saying that he probably had more metal in his body than he has bone left now. So if you're going to spend that amount of time racing around on 2 wheels on that sort of stuff, you're bound to have a couple of battle scars from it. And he was talking to me last night about how he's had his femur rebuilt and his pelvic structure replaced and all manner of things, but much safer for him to be out there today because he's obviously no harm will come to him while he's sat in his rig. Unless someone throws a bucket of water over him while he's got his hands on his steering wheel, of course, and he might get a bit of a shock, but I don't think he'll do that. So Bob's, we welcome Bob to the series and wish him the very best in trying to track down some of these pro guys.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've noticed here, Harry, Mac Miller is all over the back of Jamie Lawrence here. He's putting all kinds of pressure on him trying to get by right now.
Yeah, so last lap times from those two guys were about 5/100ths of a second away, so less half of 0.1 of a second to put it in perspective. These two guys ran, and they are catching up to Mateusz. They have run a tenth or two quicker. Managed to break away from Daniel Tenorio just a little bit, and Derek has dropped back off of them as well. That's put them into the hands of Manuel Tolentino. Forgive me, I am doing my best with some of these names, but they are welcome to the new guys in the championship, and I'm sure we'll aim to get your names right. Manuel looks like he ran a little bit wide there on the exit of the chicane. And does he have a slowdown? If he has, I think he might have cleared it, but he backed a little bit off there on the exit. So, but that is your battle. What is basically from third all the way down to ninth is just a big train of these pro GTE cars. And again, it's Porsche, leads Porsche, leads Porsche, leads Porsche. And you've got it, leads Porsche and a Corvette. No, he's on his own. But Andrew, I think we can see Andrew Houston in the back there trying to recover from whatever happened to him at the start. Obviously didn't have the start to season 2 as he wished. Wish. There we go, thank you. It's late, man. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Give me a break.
You need some coffee, man.
Man, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I was drinking then, but it's a Hill and Frost would probably give you an idea of in a very luminous bottle. There you go. It's keeping me going. But let's have a little look through, see where the AMs are at. We've got a string of AMs here. Mark Scott, Michael Kalaga, Don Hunter. And then we've got a few rejoining and trying to catch up guys back from there. How is our sole BMW doing? Kyle Smith, what sort of lap times he putting in the big weaponised personnel carrier? Front end.
App description for that car. Let's see, last lap of 42.470.
Got some damage on the front end though. Looks like he's had a trip either into somebody's bumper or a trip off to the barrier.
I wonder if that was from that incident earlier with Mark Scott.
Could be. He was in with that sort of mix.
Yeah, I think he would have been coming up on that, right as it was occurring.
Yeah, he's definitely got some damage to the front end, which is not going to be doing any favours. And of course, that car, the behemoth of a car that it is.
Oh, we got a real battle here for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
In the pro field?
Oh, yeah. Max off the track, actually.
Oh, what happened to Mac there? Was there contact between the two of them?
No, I think he just locked it up. He tried to send it on Jamie, and it didn't stick.
Oh, and Daniel... Oh, is that Daniel Tenorio? Yeah, I think Daniel
really
Tenorio. Yeah, so Daniel Tenorio just... whack. Nowhere to go. Unfortunately, Matt was... Big shame.
Yeah, that was shaping up to be a pretty big battle there, but not to be.
Not to be. Well, these guys are still in there. They're it's put them. Oh, Jamie Lawrence. Sorry, was it Jamie Lawrence? No, it was the other PPR sports car of Derek McManus that had a bit of side contact with Manuel.
Manuel? I don't know.
I'm going to confirm that. I'll forgive me if I pronounce it wrong from here, but I will ask you personally and get the correct pronunciation of your name. But a little bit of side contact as they came through the left-hander there, and it looks like they've got themselves sorted out now. But big shake-up, and Mac Miller's rear wing looks all out of shape, really.
Snaggle-toothed, didn't it?
Yeah, it's put it like a. It's put it dipping down at one side and a bit of side damage there. So I must have been quite lucky not to get any rear end suspension damage, because obviously you hit him right on the corner of the car, and that can push things in and give you toe out problems or toe in problems and make it crab and be all out of shape. He probably has a little bit of aero issue, but that'll only affect him in a straight line. So
I tell you, just from watching him though, I think he's driving a little angry. He's catching up to the back of Daniel Tenorio pretty quick.
yeah, I don't think he's going to have any issue with Daniel. I think there's nowhere for Daniel particularly to go, but there's one guy who's benefiting from all of this, and that is Andrew Hewson. So Andrew Hewson obviously recovering from what happened. But a big shout out, I think, to say, out and out, off the mark, just going for it. Leader of AM at the minute, James Pearce, is out there on his own and is the class of the field at the minute. 40.3 from James. He is flying. Mark Scott is in P2 of the AMs, and he is, he's like 6-7 seconds behind. So Mark's having a really good race, no detriment to Mark, but James is really on it and gelling well with the Corvette and Imola. So
he's catching up to the back of some of the pro guys, so he's having a whale of a run.
He very much is. So let's just see what sort of battles we've got shaping up. So obviously Mark, we're giving Mark his praises, and he's just put a wheel off, and he's oh dear, it started. What have I done? Oh, I've done it.
No, this is one thing we can't bring back for season 2. Okay, no, we cannot bring the commentator's curse back.
I can't. He's in P2. He's obviously Mark's progressed really well as a driver. We've seen that happen through season 1. And we've got contact on track. Is that Manuel? We're cutting to a replay here of what happened, but we can see. I think it was Manuel had some contacts, which was your 8th position guy in pro with one of the PPR esports guys. What happened there? Let's see if we can grab that. And it was in so the PPR esports car of Derek McManus was just on the inside, and whether Manuel knew he was there or not, turns in.
Oh no. Yep, he just turned in on him.
And there's a Porsche there, and you know what? Derek was really lucky not to get a slam in the door as that Corvette was coming back on track. So unfortunately, Manuel's lost a whole heap of time, a couple of spaces. Andrew Hewson manages to get around him as well, so recovering Andrew. Not going to be complaining with that, but again, these guys are proving their worth on this first round today, so they are putting their elbows out and showing us what they got. So could be a couple of protest forms coming through. Give us something to do tomorrow and have a look at those. Not that we want to see them. Of course, we would like to do a black page, and then I can just sit and watch films and do nothing like we're doing over here in the UK every single day at the minute. But there you go.
Yeah, I will say, typically we always saw race 1 was kind of docile last season. That is not the case here so far.
No, he's not.
I can't really say I blame them, though, because it's only a 30-minute race. You got to get after it. You can't spend, 5 or 6 minutes trying to make a move on a guy. So
100%. No, you literally cannot afford to be sat around twiddling your thumbs. You've got to get a move on. But I think I think it's proving that the pro field is, these guys here are pretty much on the same pace. If they're able to maybe go around with a little bit less contact than what they've got at the minute, then we might be able to see some really half-decent stuff from them. But we do have a battle shaping up for what is P2 in the amateurs. So we've got Michael Kalaga in the Ferrari with Don Hunter in the Corvette, and then just scrabbling, trying to get himself back up there, Porsche of Mark Scott. So those three are pretty close to each other.
Yeah, I will say Mark's done pretty well to recover here from that earlier incident.
Yeah, he's picked it back up.
'Cause I think he was pretty well almost last out of the AMs after that incident said and done.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that the mangled rear wing of the full Sen Racing car of Matt Miller is still able to hold off Derek McManus at the minute. They come through. Handsome looking car, that PPR Porsches. I remember that we had, I think it was a chap in the World Series, I think it was Jonas Dreyer used to drive for them, and he used to, I can't remember what car he originally raced in that colour scheme. I want to say it was an Audi. And, you know, it just struck me. I thought, well, that's a handsome looking car. So, but he might have a run out of here. Mac runs wide. He's up the inside. I wonder if Mac got a slowdown there. Now they're 2x2 as they come into the left-hander. What's going to happen as they turn in? Mac yields. Very sensible thing to do because probably doesn't have the best of aerodynamic, shall we say, efficiency right now. So he's going to tag on to the back of Derek as they come across the line to complete what will be lap 15. Lap 16 they're on now, guys. So Mac puts his car to the outside, juts back in, stays behind him. Just not enough of a run there to do anything. And they go right and back into the left-hander, bumping over the curbs. It's a portion of the track, this first sector, that I really enjoy getting right, but you're always on the limit of how close you get to those big turtle sausage curves, whatever you want to call them. Because if you clip one of those, it can be a race ender. It can really mess about with your car. I did a VRS endurance here with a couple of guys, and we did it in the Mercedes just because we, I don't know, bored or something, I suppose, or didn't want to finish well anyway, and hit that sausage curb, and it just mangled the front end of the car and put this big lump all in, like where the bumper is and everything. And he'd gone to get a cup of coffee at the time. We're kind of not painting the best. We're not painting a very good picture for ourselves in endurance races, are we?
Oh no. But yeah, I mean, more to your point, especially with the new damage model that, you know, some of these cars have now, if you hit one of them sausage curves, it'll tear the front end of the car off. It'll absolutely destroy the suspension. I mean, yeah, your race can be done in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. As a league runner, owner, whatever you want to call it, of three, am I looking forward to some of these cars getting the new damage model? I don't know. Because, you know, you picture it, you know, you get a bit of contact down the straight and it snaps your hub or something like that and makes your wheel floppy, and then you go and hit the brake pedal and you've only got 3 wheels actually making contact with the ground. That could bring some interesting stuff. Daniel Sororio goes for a look on the inside, doesn't get it done. Let's drop back. I mean, the Anfield is all pretty strung out as I go through, so there's nothing really to report there. I do want to give a shout out to car 39, which is Miles Morse. Has got a very handsome looking black and orange Ferrari. Unfortunately looking a little bit worse for wears at the minute, but I just a paint scheme that caught my eye, and I thought that's got some nice lines on it, some work's been put into that, and of course it's got that really nice spec map on to sort of bring out those colours, that sort of deep matte sheen sort of thing going on. Would look a lot better if it didn't have the front of it mangled up and had a piece of glass over where the engine should be, but you know, on the whole, the car looks good and runs for Eclipse Esports. Now, not to be confused with another Eclipse racing team that runs in the World Series, but these guys are a different Eclipse racing team, or Eclipse Esports Racing, I think they're called. So yeah, we wish them wish those guys the best of luck. There's a couple of guys from that team, I believe, out here this this weekend. It's not weekend, is it? Wow, it's even Wednesday. Not even close to the weekend.
No,
it's the other way.
Yeah, I still gotta go to work for the next 2 days there, buddy.
Sorry about that.
I wish it was Friday.
It's not. Not even gonna lie to you on that one, mate. It's not even close to Friday.
You're killing me.
Sorry.
I'm dying a little inside now.
It's like that BMW did when you hit the wall at Bathurst. Let's get back to some of the racing that we've got going on. So these guys were able to keep the cars pointed in the right way, and
I'll let that go.
thank you. Let's see where we're with. Jeff Applegrim. So someone's put, "Let's go orange frown." I'm sure it has a meaning. I don't know what it is. I don't even want to begin to decipher what the meaning is to that. But I'm sure it's meant in good taste. Sure it is. But Jeff is currently 5.2 seconds behind, and the top three have just been sort of getting a bit further away from each other every lap. And then from fourth back, they've just been kind of bouncing off each other every other lap. And we've got Mateus, she's coming up on the back of that lap down car of Miles Morse. Jamie Lawrence gets a little bit held up there as the AM decides to sort of turn in late to allow these guys to get past. Daniel Tenorio, third car back in that, and they've all kind of strung themselves out now. Andrew Hughes has been able to get by Mac Miller though, so that's a move on track. Andrew Hughes obviously recovering from what happened earlier on. Gets around the full send racing car of Mac Miller as we come in to what I believe, I might be wrong in saying, is either the white flag or the end of the race.
I don't see the flag man holding a flag.
White flag. It is white flag. It is the last lap of the race of round one, or race one of round one. And Kevin Brooks has just run away with it, really. Not even give anyone a chance. So, done really well. That 67 Porsche. And his teammate hasn't quite had the first rounds that you wanted. I think he got turned around a couple of times and just not quite had the pace that Kevin's had. But Manuel Tolentino is currently sitting back there in 10th for the Pro Field. And he's coming up on the lap traffic. But let's just see if any of the PPR guys are able to put anything together. They're all strung out, so I don't think we're going to get any last lap movers or shakers. They've got some nice gaps on each other here. What about the Anfield? Is there anything? We've got Don Hunter, who is on the back of Michael Kalaga. This is for second place in the AM. That is your closest battle there. Have we got is that a car slowing down on the straight?
Where?
Derek McManus. Well,
he is.
I think he's out of fuel.
No, he can't be.
He's out of fuel. He's out of fuel. Oh dear.
Did he try taking some? He must have tried taking some out of.
He's run out of fuel.
Loud.
He's run out of fuel, but there we have it. Big shout out to Kevin A. Brooks. Is your race one winner, followed by Jeff Applegrim second and Taylor Lane third. Mateus crossing the line in fourth. And I want to get up, see if there's anything happens here between Don Hunter and Michael Kalaga. No, I think Don's rescinded to being happy with P3, and Michael's going to come across the line in P2. James Pierce is your AM winner. And Mark Scott did I've got to say, I don't think we got a chance to see what happened to him, but he was way out of shape coming out of the last corner. Had the car at an awful angle and actually put his foot through the brake pedal. So, did really well to keep that car pointed the right way. So, yeah, that is race one of the season over and done with. A little bit spicy than maybe we anticipated, I think, Casey?
A little bit, yeah. I'm a little bit surprised to see these guys get right after it. The way that they did. So, but all in all, I mean, for the most part, I think it was, fairly clean. I don't think I saw any intentional wrecking or anything like that. So,
no, I don't think we saw anything. Don't think we saw anything of the realms of intentional. But obviously, these guys are intentionally trying to pass each other, and there's always this argument to say contact on track is always a degree of intention about it. But let's not get bogged down in that debate. Casey, if you'd like to talk us through the race results, and I'll start getting race 2 server up and going.
All right, so Kevin A. Brooks, he is your winner overall. Well, not overall anymore, sorry. He is the winner in pro. Jeff Applegrim brings it home second. Taylor Lane in third. Matouche in fourth. Daniel Tenorio fifth. Jamie Lawrence sixth. Andrew Hewson seventh. Mac Miller in eighth. And Manuel Tolentino in ninth. Winner in AM, 10th overall, James Pierce. Just waiting for this to refresh for me. There we go. 11th, Bob Bieber. 12th, Michael Kalaga. 13th, Don Hunter. 14th, Mark Scott. Blake Scott in 15th. Steven Martinez, 16th. Brent Bravada in 17th. 18th was Eric Kalaga. 19th was Derek Ekmanis. 20th, Errol Yurksoy. 21st, Jacob Hithcote. 22nd, Kyle Smith. 23rd, Miles Morse. 24th, John Casey. And Lyden Lee. 25th, 17 laps down.
There are your final race results from race 1, and I think it's only fair that we're going to grab Kevin in here for a chat about his results. So let's grab him up. Kevin, welcome, mate. Really well done on your on round 1, and I think you've shown a couple of guys who have maybe been in this season from season 1, sort of what your worth is. So how was the race from out of your windscreen, mate?
Thanks. Clean sailing. Got a good start, and this is my first, obviously, race, I think, in this league for sure, but any league at all. So getting used to the rules and procedures and all of that. I can tell you, probably for the first lap, I was waiting for a call from race control telling me I'd, botched the start or something. So always waiting for something to go wrong, I think, when you're in the lead. And yeah, I was just happy to have some pace, consistent pace, and come away with a win. So we still got second heat here, and it'll be interesting starting from wherever I end up starting from. But I'm happy with that result.
Yeah, you're going to be starting, last of your category. Sorry about that, and that's just part of what we like to do. So obviously, it'll be a complete reverse grid of the classes. So you're still going to start in your blocks, but yeah, we're not going to make it easy for you. That's just not how we do things.
It's all right. Elbows out.
Elbows out, mate. That is it. That is how we race. So, yeah, mate. Well, yeah. I mean, you've got a team. Forgive me. I'm going to ask you before I get a chance to ask him. Is it Manuel or Manuel? I mean, how do we go about pronouncing?
I just call him Manny. But Manuel, yeah.
Manuel, cool.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, he's decided to come on board with me to do this. With the HereForSR.com driver development school team. We're just doing it for fun. He's a friend of mine, and he decided to come hang out with me on Wednesday nights and have a little bit of fun doing a league, taking a shot at the prize. And yeah, I'm happy to have him, here with me. He's a great support. It's fun. It's nice to have someone in practice that you can bounce things off of and have a chat with and have a laugh with. And not only that, but I think he maybe didn't show it in this race, but I don't think this is his track. But he's able to put up some pretty competitive lap times himself, so I'm looking forward to being competitive with him in a race session too throughout the season.
Yeah, we've had a couple of guys obviously mention the fact that they have had some, shall we say, not difficulties, but mild issues in bedding in with Imola. I think it is a track. Yeah, it's suited to these kind of cars, but the nature of sort of fast flowing and then slow flowing corners with these massive curves, that it could catch you out in a heartbeat. And unless you can get a really concrete, smooth rhythm, which you kind of develop there in that race, it could just end your race in 1 second just by hitting one of those curves and then bounce all over the place and having a bad day. So any specific plans for race 2? I mean, where are you just going to elbows out and give it to them?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, this is my first go, so I expect to be racing with Jeff, probably wherever towards the back and picking our way through. Maybe I'll let him do the dirty work. I don't know, but we'll see what happens when it comes time to it. So just happy with a good result. It's a good way to kick off the season, and hope for more of that.
Mate, well, look, thank you very much for taking part. Thank you for bringing your team out on board as well. We wish you the very best of luck in the championship. It's a good way to start it off. And hey, you know what? If you're having fun and then you get a knock on the door from a courier service and they're delivering off a rig to you, I'm sure that's going to be one way of spending your Wednesday evenings. Is it an upgrade to what you've got? What sort of kit are you running at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with what I have. I'm not, I don't have a rig, but I have, Fanatec CSW wheelbase, D3 load cell pedals, 3 monitors at my desk. So I'm very happy with my setup. But I mean, there's always one more upgrade. I think we're all chasing that. So it'd be a cool prize to come away with, but it's way too early to be thinking about that. Right now it's just, one race at a time, 1 week at a time. And if that's where we end up, then awesome. And if not, then, I'm really here to get my feet wet and have some fun. And so far, I think we're doing that. But who doesn't love winning? So,
mate, absolutely. We had some great times in season 1. And we're glad to see you guys back in. So grid's pretty much sorted out. I'll be putting an announcement out when the server's live. We wish you the very best of luck in season 2 and the rest of the championship. Casey, you got anything for Kevin?
No, man, congrats. Great run. Just solid, dude. That was good.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, mate.
No problem.
Well, look, best of luck in race 2, and we'll catch you soon, dude.
Awesome. Alrighty. Speak to you soon. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. So we are just getting the grid squared away at the minute. It's good to get these new guys in here and get them about and let people know that they who they are and put faces to cars, skins, whatever you want to call it. But it's I think we're in for a good showing this season, and Kevin's put his authority on that pretty much from the get-go there and showing people what his worth is.
Tell you, that's pretty impressive. Knowing how fast that Jeff Applegrim usually is, I don't know if maybe this track just doesn't suit him or what, but that's impressive.
Oh yeah, it really is.
We didn't see anybody run away from Jeff all year last season. So
yeah, I mean, him and Jersey were pretty much on each other's what's the whole time really, and it was only in the latter stages, obviously Jeff, for whatever reason, work commitments, whatever it might be, had to take a little bit of a back step from the season, but he's come back into this one, and maybe wasn't quite expecting someone like Kevin to probably appear and put over 5 seconds on him in race 1, but we've got the grid all sorted, and I'm just going to make sure 100% that I save the replay just in case we do have any things happen tomorrow that we need to look at. And there we go. There we go. So, are we going to see Kevin do a double, do you think?
Oh, I mean, it's possible. He's definitely quick. So I think he's definitely fast enough to get it done. It's going to be trying to get through the traffic cleanly, I think, is where the challenge is going to be. And not just for him, for Jeff as well. So, yeah, I think that's really going to be as fast as Kevin was in that race there. Jeff has any shot, I think it's going to be getting through traffic a little bit quicker than Kevin, just hoping Kevin gets bogged down a little bit. But either one of those guys, I think, could easily, come away with it.
Yeah, and of course, not to mention Taylor Lane. I mean, Taylor's a very experienced driver, racing for Fiercely Forward, which is a pretty well-known team. And, it only takes you to go and give it a move or something like that isn't maybe quite on at the time, or something doesn't quite go well, and before you know it, you're then in a situation where you've got a damaged car or something like that. And this is the big thing with reverse grid racing, that we enjoy seeing it. Sometimes it goes wrong. It's the nature of the beast with motor racing. Whenever you put quick guys trying to get through slower guys, or slower guys who are then trying to maximize their opportunity because they're at the front of the field, it all adds up and can potentially cause some interesting racing.
It's that level of desperation. You know, you put guys, you put quick guys back there in the back with a limited amount of time to get through. It automatically just ramps up that that aggressive meter. You know, so because they know they don't have time, they got to go right from the drop of the green flag. They can't wait. So it's going to be spicy, that's for sure. That's and that's what we saw race 2. Every race 2 pretty much last season. So I think this is going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely, and of course, there is a few guys out there in this series that have decided not to take part tonight, or in fact, there's a couple of guys that decided not to take part because they just weren't getting on with the track. And Imola is a real, just, I don't know if I've ever met anyone who loves Imola. I've met a lot of people who like it, and I've met a hell of a lot of people who go, I ain't racing around that. And you're kind of either in, I don't know if anyone would actually turn around and go, I love Imola. I think it's one of the best tracks ever. I think it's it's just a track that's got a lot of prestige about it, and I think obviously a lot of history. I mean, we don't even want to go into what happened there.
Oh yeah.
In the early 90s, that's one of the saddest days of motor racing, or saddest weekends of motor racing, full stop, in history ever happened around this track. But I think some of fantastic racing that we've seen has been around Imola as well. So it'll be. I think it's a track that's welded in motorsport history.
Yes.
But I don't know if I've ever come across anyone who goes, you're talking in chat or whatever, and you go, IMS at Imola this week, or ESS Series is at Imola. I don't know if I've ever met anyone who's gone, it's at Imola, yeah, I can't wait for that.
As we got someone just piping up in chat that Tyson Meyer loves Imola.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he want help? Does he need to see someone? I'm joking. It's a great track.
Oh.
It's a great track. It's just,
I don't know. It's one of the. I would say it can be fun. If you're like, for me personally, it would be fun just to turn laps by myself, like in my own little test session. But in terms of like actually racing around there, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that, and I'm gonna take a trip round of a memory lane. No, I'm not gonna bore you too much. When the GTE Endurance Series first came out, where it was the 90-minute races, so the GTE Endurance Series that are in iRacing. When they first started that, one of the early tracks, they went to Imola, and the Ford was super quick. And I picked the Ford, and I was going out there, and I did like a 38 something in qualifying. I felt I was quick for my iRating group at the time when I was about 2K. And I had one of the best races I had around there. It was qualified pole, binned it in the first lap, didn't damage it, but binned it, ended up like 43rd, and then came back to win it. And that was just one of them races that stuck in my head. But I still don't think I don't know whether I like it or love it or hate it. I just, on the right day, maybe I can be happy with it. But if things aren't going right, Imola's meh. Not a bit. Yeah. And I think maybe a couple of people have had that feeling about Imola. But you know what? If you do love it, great for you. Congratulations. But I'm more looking forward to next week. Watkins Glen. That's a proper track. Proper track. Is that the right thing to say about this place? I'm going to stop talking. Digging myself a hole of, hating on Imola.
No, I think it's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So we join into the session to see. Now, one thing I will say, not a rule change as such, but we're going to be racing a little bit later on in the evening. The track's now going to be a tad cool. I think we saw it at 31 degrees Fahrenheit, which in units in the land of the free is 76 Fahrenheit is what it is now. I think 31's probably about 85 Fahrenheit, 86, something like that, off the top of my head in Fahrenheit. So it's a little bit cooler. It's going to be a little bit easier for these guys to, maybe put some moves on it. And I think, a cooler track always brings for cooler racing. And of course, we may as well give a bit of a shout to say to Derek, just don't forget to put some fuel in it. Because if it needs it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it works without it. So you just
that really makes me wonder if he tried calculating exactly how much he needed and came up just that much short.
Yeah. Or it could be a case where maybe not anticipated the pace of what Kevin had round there, and of course maybe Kevin, we were looking at something that was going on track at the time, but when the white flag maybe he thought was coming out came out a lap after, he anticipated it to be a little bit longer down the line. Who knows? But if he's got to do is shove another 3 litres, 2.5, 3 litres of fuel in, and he'll be all right, I think. We can see him there as he's got 3 minutes on the clock countdown until we go into the start of race 2. And I think Jeff will get a good run here.
Yeah.
I think he will. Yep. Kevin, new to the series, new to a lot of these guys, maybe doesn't want to rock the boat. I don't know, something like that. Maybe might not want to do it, but I think Jeff will be a little bit more ruthless. I think he might just pull himself through the pack in a little bit better fashion. You watch, I've said that now.
No, we're not.
No, I know. We're going to have a repeat moon landing. It's going to be Jeff Applegrim's car hitting the surface of the sun. But no, he'll be. I think he'll be all right. I think Jeff will. Well, I'm only going to go with Jeff, the Rainbow Warrior.
Well, as what his new nickname is, or maybe not new, maybe it's just new to me. Jeff Orange Frown.
Orange Frown. Yes, that's a nice one.
So apples grin and apparently oranges frown. So
you see, I never thought of it like that. Wow, now I get it. Well, I hope that's what it is anyway, and not some, story of being drunkenness and then colouring each other's faces with orange highlighters or something weird. But it'll be. But Jeff's got out there, stamped his time, 38.9. I think that's probably on some good fuel as well. So put a good time in. Kevin. Is Kevin on track? Is he putting a time in? Kevin is not on track at the minute. He's having some contemplation and getting himself in the zen. But yeah, well, be good to see what sort of stuff. And I'm not going to do what we did last season either. I'm not going to go and throw these guys into a night race at Laguna Seca again. And I'm going to say it, and I wanted to say it. That is one track that I am very glad that he's not on that calendar.
No, come on. Laguna Seca, it's fun.
Shut up. It's not fun. I cannot stand Laguna Seca. I'd rather drive around for 3 hours at the Nordschleife in reverse with the blindfold on than do a VRS race around Laguna Seca or something like that. I cannot. It just makes me itch. Laguna Seca does. Can't stand it.
Well, here's the problem with Laguna Seca though. It's either one of those tracks you get on with it right away, or you're gonna have to spend the time and just get better.
No, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's just a bad play. I can't. No, not a big fan.
I can say the same about Brands Hatch. So
shut up. That's a great track.
No.
Phenomenal track. The crown of English motorsport is just no.
It's crap.
Did you go there? I like Bathurst, Casey. What do you think to Bathurst? Anyway.
Yeah, since you're going there, how about the R130?
Oh, don't talk to me.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Suzuka. Yeah, great. Good shot. Still got yellow paint on my door from the inaugural meeting that I had with you. That was good fun, that was.
Yeah, it ended with me sideways at 180 miles an hour.
I'm really glad that I was not on any form of stream for that, because I called you some pretty horrific stuff after that. And lo and behold, I don't know why I saw pity on you probably and wondered if you wanted to race in a team to actually learn how to drive.
Oh, it could not have been the fact that you couldn't beat us. That couldn't have had anything to do with it. No,
we
right?
ran out. We it was fuel.
And I knew I was calculating your guys' fuel at the end of that race, and I knew you weren't going to make it.
We tried. We tried really hard.
I figured y'all were going to run out a lot quicker than what you did, though.
We did well.
Yeah. You went a lot further than what I thought. I kept telling James, I'm like, yeah, they're going to have to pit. I was like, they're not going to make it. And then we're coming up to the white flag. I'm like, oh, God. I was like, oh, nope, there they go.
There we go. Good times. Fun times, I suppose. So.
Oh, yeah, that was good times.
So we are coming through to start race 2 of the evening. So this is another 30-minute race, reversed grid. Obviously, the chap who runs out of fuel is the main beneficiary of this race. Pace car pulls off and he holds them in the starting zone. And the AMs are leaving a nice gap behind. So they're going to pull through into their starting zone. And they get the green flag. So our AMs and the pros, they're away. I'm just looking at the AMs, and they're taking a very long time to get themselves going, but the pros are away, and they come down into turn 1, and it's Derek McMahon.
Oh, lock up. Who was it? Oh, and I think Daniel Tenorio. I think he just got spun.
Daniel
Tenorio. Was that Andrew? No, that was Andrew Houston.
Again, he's...
Oh, man.
It's literally... just... That's 2 races in a row he gets turned around before he even gets through the first corner. Really, really feel for him there.
Yep, Jamie Lawrence was sending it in there, and well, you know, I can't. Jamie was he was there. He had the line, and it looks like maybe Andrew didn't realize how wide his car was, and it looks like he just kind of turned across his nose a little bit. So
he did. So Andrew's got it all to do again, and I'm sure he's really happy with that. As we go looking at the AM field, I'm just scanning through, see what's going on there. Mark Scott is on the grass. So Mark Scott is has had a bit of an off in the right hand as they go up the hill towards the marina section. And there's a couple of guys looking a bit spicy through the Anfield line. Lee's trying to get himself around in the VRT car to get around James Pierce, who of course won race 1 in the amateurs. Very well, a nice turnout Corvette he's got there. And he's going to be making progress as I think it was Don Hunter puts a little bit of a block on, but James look to the inside into the chicane. Is it a move? It's tight through there, lads. Be careful, there's cars off everywhere in front of them. Oh dear.
Oh no, what just happened?
Oh dear, that is James Pierce is around. Lyden Lee manages to pick a hole through it. What happened up there? Let's have a little look here. So I think it was
trees in the way.
There's a tree in the way. Yeah. Oh geez, what happened there? I'm trying to see it for myself.
Somebody going for a move, and wow. Oh.
Yeah, what happened there? So there was a big check up in front, and James Pierce is the. I think he just gets turned around, gets clipped. We can see as he comes through, he goes onto the right hander, into the left. The accident's happening up ahead. Whack! Eric Kalar gets a chunk again, man. What some luck he's having. And then Lyden Lee, nowhere to go. It's him. A couple of cars are off as well. Jacob Eastcote's just gone for a trip into the barrier after, I think it was a complete self-spin. Trying to get himself going again. Yeah, I think he's gone through. Oh, he's hit the curb. He's hit the curb. He's on the gravel. He can't save it. It's around. It's dead. Yeah, he's into the barrier, and that is.
Oh no! Well, Jeff Applegrim just got in the back of Daniel Tenorio, and just sent Dan for a little spin here.
Oh dear! So they're breaking down into the left-hander.
Jeff's letting him go. He's letting him have the spot back.
Yeah, tags the back.
That's class.
It's so easy to do, though. It's an easy mistake to make, and yeah, Jeff does the right thing. Lets Daniel carry up the road. Andrew Houston gets a couple of spots out of that, so he's not going to be complaining. Well, I'm sure he's got plenty to complain about after the first lap shenanigans that he had. But we're still... Oh, and that's...
Oh,
please.
no.
Oh dear, they're really getting caught out with this track today. That's Manuel, Tolentino gets it on the gravel. Taylor gets it on the gravel
Big
behind
battle
him.
here between Taylor Lane and Kevin Brooks.
Well, with the replay at the minute, you can just see that they all get on the gravel as they come out of that corner, and Manuel is the guy who just comes off a little bit bad there as he's all over the back of Taylor Lane trying to get the move done. What's happening further up in the pro field is Derek McManus. Hopefully he's got enough fuel in it this time because he's out there in the lead spot, followed closely by Matt Miller, Jamie Lawrence, Taylor Lane, Kevin Brooks, and you got Mateus, Manuel, and then Bob Bieber. Bob did put something in the Discord to say that he was only running on like 80% throttle in that race, so maybe we're going to see a little bit more pace out of Bob in this one, but he wasn't. He was a little bit off pace in that race, so I thought something might have been wrong, but I think he had a problem with his throttle settings, so might see a little bit more out of him in this one. Let's get back up to the racing with Taylor Lane and Manuel, and they are 3 cars coming into turn 1. Kevin Brooks looks to the outside. Oh, and Taylor Lane capitalises on that and gets a move put on Jamie Lawrence. Well done.
That was a power move.
Yeah, he did well there around the outside into the braking zone. Got it absolutely lit up and did really well.
Yeah, and that's going to give Taylor just a little bit of cushion back to Kevin, because any little distance that Taylor can put between himself and Kevin is, that's exactly what he's going to need here.
Going to help, yeah, I agree with that. And we've got a little bit of an accident back in the AMS. It's Mark Scott runs into the back of Michael Kalaga into the left hand. Jeez, these boys are really going for themselves in race 2. And there's another car off there, Lyden Lee in the Ferrari. And I didn't think, oh no, Mark Scott just didn't know he was on the outside of him there. He just didn't know he was there. And what happened here? He got into the left-hander. Line, he's there, and Mark just didn't know he was there. Around he goes. That's unfortunately the end of the day for Lyden. Oh dear, we've had some interesting stuff in this round. So let's get back to the racing that's happening up ahead.
Kevin Brooks, he's looking to make a move here into the braking zone for turn 1. He's alongside. Yep, and he clears them easily going down into the braking zone.
Yeah, he does well there. So Kevin making his way up. That's 5th for Kevin at the minute. See if he's got anything else that he wants to bring to the pie. He's got something for Taylor Lane. So Corvette still potentially showing that it's the car to have. Derek McManus running away with it. Matt Miller in 2nd. And then obviously Taylor Lane, Jamie Lawrence, and Kevin Brooks. And then Mateus is in 6th, but that's your top 5. So they're trying to...
Kevin's really closing in on the back of Taylor Lane here pretty quickly.
He very much is. Jamie
Taylor, Taylor, I think, had about a 10 car length gap, and I think that's down to about half that now already in about a half a lap.
Yeah, the gap's coming down. Kevin is on a charge. With a third of this race pretty much gone. He's still got quite a big chunk of time to make it up. He's got over 5.5 seconds to get through the guys ahead of him. That handsome-looking black and red Corvette with Kevin at the wheel might be able to do something about this. He's currently running in P4, and he is. That last lap, he was 4 tenths quicker than Taylor Lane, 6 tenths quicker than Matt Miller, and only 3 tenths quicker than Derek. So Derek is pushing himself forward. And I've just remembered what PPR stands for. Pole Position Racing. There you go, bit of trivia for you there. But the line of sun as they come through, left-hander, and they go up the hill into a kink right. Kevin!
Oh, Kevin, no! He saved it? He did?
He saved it. Wow, that was impressive. He just clipped the grass on the right-hand side, right hand on the dirt. Car comes around, and he just puts his foot through the brake pedal to get everything locked up to get that car still pointing in the same direction. See, here we've got a slow-mo on the screen. He's running the car really out wide, and he realises, you can see the lock slightly changed. He realises he's going for the grass. It's the grass. Nothing he can do. Well, I suppose there is. We say there's nothing he can do. He could have turned in a bit more, but, you know, he ran the car out there, but after he's touched the grass, there's absolutely nothing he can do. And he did really well to gather it up, but that has put Jamie Lawrence in the the second of the PPR Porsches up into 4th place, and Kevin's got it all to do again now. So he was within, within a tenth of Taylor Lane for 3rd, and now he's dropped back down to 5th. So we'll see as they come across the line to complete lap 6 onto lap 7. Is Kevin going to be able to make that time back up again, as we've got PPR, Full Send Racing, Fiercely Forward, PPR, and we've got here for SR. So those are the 5th, top 5 guys that we've got out there at the minute. And Jeff Applegrim now coming back on to Bob Bieber. Let's have a little look down the order. He makes that pass with ease. Let's have a little look back through the order. We've got Mark Scott is on the back of Michael Calaga. Mark Scott is bringing it into the pits, retiring the car, I think.
Yeah, he's had rotten luck here tonight.
Yeah, he's not had a good one. Yeah,
Definitely not the way you want to start a new season.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, let's go through. Blake Scott still out there for the amateurs. Andrew Houston parked the car. He's had enough. And can't blame him. 2 offs before you've even got through the first complex is enough to test any man's patience. We're going through the order here. So I was just grabbing myself a quick drink. I click on Miles Morse and he's just all locked up in that that Ferrari, trying to get himself through into the marina section. But currently out in front of the amateurs is Kyle Smith in the BMW, so proving what the BMW's got, and seems to be doing okay in that car. You got Errol Uroxoy. I'll probably spell that one, pronounce that one wrong, but he's in a Ferrari. So we've got a BMW leading a Ferrari. Neither of them have a Porsche or a Corvette badge on them. But then you've got 3rd place is Brent Bravata, and he is in a Porsche after his little shenanigans that he had earlier on in the race. Mark Scott was pitting for a black flag.
Oh, yep.
So we have an incident. We have an incident limit here of 15 incidents. So as soon as they hit 15, it gets a black flag. So obviously Mark's got those 15 incident points very early on in the race and had to bring the car in to get that cleared. So drops him right down the order, pretty much in the last running car of the amateurs. Still with this battle ahead though. So it's Taylor Lane, Jamie Lawrence, and Kevin Brooks. Kevin Brooks has got around Jamie Lawrence on that lap, so got himself back up to 4th, just proving what sort of pace that he has.
Well, I've been watching over the last couple of laps, the lap times between the top 3, and Taylor Lane, you put in a shout for him, before the race started. He's actually been faster than our top 2. Not by miles, but he's definitely reeling them in. So yeah, I don't know if he'll have enough time to get there. He's definitely putting in some solid laps, and he's closing in.
Absolutely, we approach the halfway mark in the race. And currently it's Derek, Ekmanis, Mac, Miller, and there's about a 1.5 second gap between the two. It's actually just up now close to nearly 2 seconds. You can see that Mac is really trying to drive this car to get back up to him, but unfortunately he took a little bit of a late apex on that last corner there. He's probably lost another tenth or two as you see that relative bar go up to 1.933 when it was 1.8. So into the chicane, takes whole chunks of curb. Mac gets it sideways. Ooh. Yeah, you see that? So he just took too much curb and made a bit of a cock up of it there. So, but that's helped Taylor Lane out because he's brought the gap down.
Oh, he locks it up. Oh, he's off in the kitty litter. Oh, watch out! Watch out! Whew.
Yeah, Max just he was. You could just see. You know, you can see somebody who's just right on the edge, and yeah,
he's going to give it a go here into turn one.
He's looking on the outside. I don't think he's going to have anything for him. That's compromised his line. Unfortunately, that's going to give Kevin Brooks a chance to wave off into the sunset. He's probably going to have a 3 to 4 tenth gap here as they come into the next sector, left and then a right. Got to watch themselves that they don't hit those curbs. Matt takes a good chunk of curb on that right-hander there and able to get away with it. Usually, if you hit that sausage curb, it can really put a good dampener on your race. Max trying. You can see he's really trying to get some pace out of that Porsche. Into the left-hander. We go on board with him here. And that's a corner really that you turn in and you need to be getting on the power right when you're on the apex of the corner to maximise your speed as you run down the hill into the marina section. So really trying hard. Kevin just seems to be really, really smooth on the car. I think that's one thing that is assisting him in his pace. He just seems to be super smooth and being super accurate at what he's doing with his inputs. So it's good to see it, but there's still a big gap. 4.2, just under 4.2 seconds between Derek and Taylor Lane. And that is at the top of the pro field. Let's have a little look at what's going on with the amateurs behind. So it's still Kyle Smith out in front of the AMs in that big BMW, but Errol has got onto the back of him. Might have a little bit of a battle heating up for the lead of the amateurs. So it's Ferrari versus BMW at the front of the AMs at the minute, and P2 unfortunately is right down the pecking order.
Looking at the last lap time, I don't know if Kyle's going to be able to hold him off.
Oh, Don Hunter goes for a
40. Well, as I say that now, he does a 41.0. So he pretty much matched Errol's lap time last. I wonder if he just made some sort of mistake or something to let Errol get up to him.
41.097. Errol did a 41.050. There was 4 100ths of a second between them.
Errol's there.
He's there. And Kyle's overcooked the first corner, and that's Errol's got right up onto the back of him as they come through into the chicane.
You just launches out of the corner, though. Good Lord.
Yeah, it's the landmass weight behind it. It gives it all the grip that you want it to have sometimes. So we'll stick with this battle as they come through down into the marina section into a right-hander. Let's see if the Ferrari's got anything through this section here. Errol's giving quite a tight line, but see how Kyle got the thing all out of shape there. Didn't do him any favours. And that brings Errol back to him. So whatever gap he managed to pull in the middle section of the track is just opened back up again. And this is probably where the Ferrari's got a little bit more potentially edge on the BMW is, turning and stuff like that on these slower corners. It's just going to have a little bit more about it, I think. Let's see as he comes into the double left-hander to complete what is lap 11. No, gap stays about the same, so they are within a second of each other.
Yeah, but if there's anywhere the Ferrari's going to have an advantage, it's going to be right here down the straightaway.
Yeah, speed-wise, well, he's in the toe, so he's just
look at that.
clawing him in. He's really clawing him in. He has a little look on the left, and Kyle sort of blocks it off. He's nowhere near him just yet. And they go off to complete another lap. But yeah, Errol just on that straight there just really pulled that BMW in. That big chunk of German engineering just cutting a massive hole in the air. And just opening that Ferrari in. So obviously the draft is a massive important thing. When a car's cutting a hole in the air, it's creating this sort of bubble behind it of and the air resistance in the front of the car is...
Well, I mean, it's got about the aerodynamic equivalent of a brick.
It's a slab, yeah. I think my house has got more aerodynamic capacity. So, but yeah, it's Errol's doing well. He's sticking with him, and he's not letting him pull away. And again, we'll see when they complete this lap. We'll just see how close, if Errol can get anything closer to him, as Kyle lights the back up. He sees he come out of there. Left some lemons. He's on the floor.
Yeah, Errol's got a run on him here.
He's got to run. I don't think he'll do anything.
He's not going to get there, but he's going to be a lot closer when we get to the front straightaway.
He is.
Oh yeah, Errol should be able to make a run on him here.
Kyle got the run out of that corner. Errol didn't really maximise his opportunity in the last corner, so the gap is just a bit too much, I think, for Errol to be putting anything on him into turn one. So it's probably going to stay as it is, at least for now.
Yeah, if Errol's going to do anything, he's got to maximize that last corner, and he's got to be closer. There we go.
Kyle had a bit of a bad. It was just bad into the first corner there. He just turned in really late and then couldn't get the car settled for the right-hander. So Errol was able to get up to him, but Errol's then had a little bit of a mistake. Kyle kicks up the dirt. These guys are, well, I think Kyle's driving in his mirror, and I think Errol's driving angry to try and get what he can out of this race. See a little bit of a slide from that Ferrari as he comes out of there. Left-handers, they drop down into the marina section. So this is where the Ferrari, I thought, would be really, really capitalising on stuff, but doesn't seem to be able to get onto the back of that BMW.
Well, I think the problem that I think Errol is having is that BMW just has so much torque, and where the Ferrari, you know, it kind of lags. It's got that turbo lag. So
it just doesn't come out the corner as clearly.
It doesn't fire out of the corner like that BMW does.
Let's see.
So right here, he really needs these next two corners. He's got to be just perfect.
Got to be on him. He's again that BMW.
He's a little closer.
You see how the BMW just comes out there and just starts stretching away.
It just launches up out of the corner.
A little closer. Again, speed difference between the... Don't hit the wall, Errol. Speed difference between the two. So about... I think it was about 8 mile an hour quick. And again, Kyle makes a mess of the first couple of corners. And it brings Errol onto him. So whether Errol's just sitting behind and waiting for the clock to count down, knowing that...
No, P2, he's looking. He's looking.
No, he's not going to do anything there. Kyle gets on the grass again.
Oh, they block. Oh! Side by side. Oh, no.
Oh, he spun it. Oh, Errol. It was just... He goes for the move. You can see a replay on the screen. He's kind of there. Kyle goes, okay, have it. And then he just makes a big... Well, I can't say it, but it's a sandwich that contains something that isn't very pleasant, and he just makes it bad.
Yeah, no, no. That wasn't going to work.
He was kind of there, and he wasn't there, but he just lights the back up coming out the corner, and around she goes.
Now, see, if it was me, you know, knowing that I'm driving the Ferrari and it's not got the power of the BMW, I kind of would have just settled back in there and, you know, gathered myself up, try and make another run. But
Yeah, well, these guys have only got. I mean, we've been with that battle now, but this guy's only got 6 minutes, and Taylor Lane has disappeared off down the road. Kevin Brooks is just out for a stroll. I think Jamie Lawrence is on the back. Well, he's within a second of what Kevin is, and then Mac is actually really close to the back of Jamie. And Mac is drive angry. You can see him there taking a wide line. He's trying to get back onto the onto having a go at Jamie. Takes a big chunk of curb on the exit. Last lap from Mac Miller was a 39.9. Last lap from Jamie Lawrence was a 39.5, and Kevin did a 39.4.
yeah, these guys are flying.
Yeah, they are going for it. Mac's quickest time was a 39.199, which is a tenth slower than what Jamie Lawrence's is, and 2 tenths slower than what Kevin's is. So, again, they're going to have to rely on the draft, get a good exit out of the final corner, and get onto the back of that car ahead to try and see what they can do. But
You know, I gotta think we must have missed something that happened to Kevin. Because he was closing in on Taylor Lane.
he had that half spin, didn't he, at the back of Taylor Lane when he came out of the.
Yeah,
the
but
hairpin lane.
even then though, he was still closing in on the back of him again, and now all of a sudden you got a huge gap. I'm just wondering.
Let me have a look at his lap time, see if there's anything that happened. He did. Sorry,
41-2.
Yeah, no, that was.
Yeah, that had to have been it. There was that 41-2.
Oh, it was in the marina section with the double right-hander. He ran off super wide.
Yep.
I've just seen it then, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he was pretty much all over the back of Taylor again, and then all of a sudden now Taylor's just off to the sunset.
You know, he's on the back of somebody. Matt Miller is on the back of Jamie Lawrence, so it's full send racing versus PPR. Into the chicane, over the bumps. Matt takes a lot more curb than what Jamie does there. I don't know if it's helped him, but he really wants to get something out of this he's already in the top 5. And again, they follow each other through, line astern. Now, is he going to get some toe here as he gets into the first corner?
Oh, absolutely.
It is. Well, there's only 3 minutes left of the race.
Oh, yeah, he's got a massive run now. Here's that draft kicking in.
Oh, and Jamie.
He had to back out of it.
Oh,
Jamie runs wide. He's still in front. He's going to have a slowdown, though, going that far off, I would think.
Yeah, he lets him have it, I think. And Jamie just locks all the front tyres up there. He was defending really hard on the left-hand side, and Mac realised that there was a car there. He wasn't able to do anything. You see a replay here on the screen of Jamie Lawrence just going through the gravel. Let's take a step back. You can see that he covered off the line on the inside, but he just locks the fronts up. There you go. Nowhere to go, and he's off down the road, and that's made it ever so easy for Mac. But he's not disappeared up the road. Jamie is, he's within a few tenths. It's really close. I've just seen it again. How close they were on the exit of the corner.
Yeah.
When Jamie was coming back on. Sorry, when Jamie was coming back on, and I was like, uh-oh, that's not going to end well.
Yeah, that was a really aggressive rejoin by Jamie there. But, I mean, he's not letting Mac get away. But these curbs are going to be telling, Mac at the end of the race, next time he needs to buy him dinner first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. On to the start-finish line. Now is Jamie going to try and catch back up? This will not be the white flag lap, so they're going to have one more lap and then the white flag lap. Onto the brakes. Jamie trying not to lock it up again. Into the left, into the right. I think Mac just had a better first sector there, so disappears off down the road just a little bit, but he's got lap down traffic ahead of him, which could come into play.
Yep, just moves over and lets these guys through. Well done.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get in the way of that. And Don had a really good race in race 1. He managed to bring him, I think it was a P2. So he started way back there on the in the order, but just not having a good race. But back to this ahead. Have these guys got anything for each other? Matt kicks the back out coming up the hill. So again, Jamie had a good exit down there. I don't think he's going to try anything into there. He's nowhere near close enough. Matt taking chunks of curb, Jamie taking chunks of curb, but I think Jamie got the better exit. And again, if he can nail this last section of the track here, he's going to get some slipstream as they come across the line for the white flag lap. So it's got to be this next lap, or it's not going to happen. Again, better turning from Jamie, you can see, into the left-hander.
Oh, yeah.
About even as they came through that last one there.
He's going to have a nice run here at the end of this straight, though.
I don't see what he can do with it. They come down over the start-finish line to complete lap 19. This will be your white flag lap. On the brakes, he gets on the brakes later. He's closed the gap up. They're right on each other now as they go through the right-hander into the left. Can he make anything of it? Where's the move going to come? He's got to try something. Sits behind him into here.
Sizing him up.
That's a car off ahead. Is that
Right
Taylor?
here. Right here. Nope. Not
Taylor
close
Lane's
enough.
off.
Taylor.
Taylor.
Oh, no.
Taylor Lane is off. Taylor. Last lap of the race.
He's going to be kicking himself.
He'll be doing worse than that. Oh, dear. Goes for a spin.
Jamie is all over the back of him here.
You just see a
Not
replay there.
close enough. Still about a car length out.
Taylor Lane on the gravel, bins it, but he's got it back going again. And he should finish just behind this battle here between Jamie and Mac. Let's see what happens as they come through. Now, Mac was really wide there. It'd be a tragedy if he gets himself a slowdown. I don't think he did. What's Jamie going to do here? On the brake.
He's got to send it.
In the left-hander, he doesn't. He sits behind. Maybe he's just happy with getting the spot. I don't know. He's another left-hander comes out.
No.
No.
Not enough.
The car was just washing away from there as he come across out of that last corner.
What a race, though.
They did really well. They did absolutely fantastic. They were really on each other. And that is that. And let's look back through the order. Jeff Applegrim manages to pick his way back up to the tail end of Mateusz. Not able to do anything with it though, but let's see what's going on with the AMs. Kyle Smith is just coming through the last left and right and left, which way around it is. Again, Errol wasn't really able to call that gap down again. He was probably had some front end damage, which didn't do him any favours. So Carl's come across the line. He's going to be your race 2 winner. So we've, apart from James Pearce, who competed the odd round in last season, the other 3 winners have all been new drivers to the series.
Yeah.
Kyle Smith is your winner of AM for race 2 here at Imola. And then Errol is your second place AM driver. And there you are. There we have it. So that is race standings on the screen. It was Derek McManus put enough fuel in this time to be able to get across the line and bring home a victory. Reverse grid really played into his hand. Kevin Brooks finishes second with Matt Miller and Jamie Lawrence third and fourth. Taylor Lane, after that last lap mishap, which I'm sure he's really, really happy with himself about, manages to get across the line in fifth. Mateusz, I'm not going to do it, finishes in sixth. And then it's Jeff Applegrim in seventh. Manuel Tolentino comes across in eighth. Daniel Tenorio ninth. And Bob Bieber rounds out the top 10. First place in your amateurs was Kyle Smith, followed by Errol Urakos. We'll work on that one. Put that one down. We're going to work on that one. Michael Kalaya gets 13th. Brent Bravata finishes 14th. And then we are into the rest of the amateurs. After that is Blake Scott, brings it across the line in 15th. Don Hunter, Mark Scott, John Casey, Miles Morse, Stephen Martinez, Eric Kalaga, Andrew Hewson was your last pro driver, finished 13 laps down after probably just, Alt F4 and going to go and have a long look out the window. Lyon Lee, Baker Pisco, and James Pierce, who's probably gone for a very, very good long look out the window as well after what happened to him earlier on in the race. So that is the end of race 2, and I think, I've got to say, really spicy stuff. I think these guys might just need to settle themselves in, keep it cool and all that sort of stuff. It's a long road, 10 weeks of racing, 9 rounds after tonight. And of course, for the endurance rounds as well, these guys are just going to have to settle in, find the pace, and make sure it works all well. But I think driver of the day, we've got to say, I think Kevin Brooks has got to have it. I think he's done ever so well with race 1. He was able to pull himself back through. A little mishap he had, but we've all had them, and get himself into second place for race 2 after Taylor Lane handing it to him on a plate. So, well done, Taylor. I'm sure you.
He's just reading the chat with him. Yeah, he's not very happy.
I am so stupid, it's unreal. Well, I wouldn't say you're stupid. I mean, there's just a very big difference in the color combination of what's gravel. That's the like orangey, yellowy stuff, and then the stuff that you want to be on is this grey stuff, and it's called tarmac. And that is where you want to be. The grey. Bad is the yellow stuff. Good is the grey stuff. So, but yeah, no. Last lap of the race, and we've all done it. We have all done that on the last lap of the race. We've all had something happen. So, oh well. There's always round 2, which is next week, and we are at Watkins Glen next week for 2 30-minute rounds. Very same as what it was this evening. But I've got to be honest with you, I'm looking forward more to Watkins Glen. I think that's a track where I'm just thinking the racing could be really, really something. And of course, taking it back to our roots is the American GT Series, because that is an all-American track. So,
yeah. Well, that track just suits these cars. It really does. The flowing, the elevation, everything. That track is just, it's. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying it's perfect for GTE, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's. It is a lot of fun, and. Yeah, I think that's us. Rob, where's your stuff? You're lighting up. No one's home.
Oh, but of course. There we go.
There. Thought you'd fallen asleep on us, Rob.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't at all. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to be back at next week for Watkins Glen. Until then, please like, favorite, and subscribe. But until then, I'll leave these two to have a bit of a beer and a bit of a chat. But until next week, lads, do take care, enjoy yourselves, and have a very good evening.